Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. A little different for me today, a change in pace if you like, and I'm having a little look at the brand new JustFlight Piper PA28 Arrow with retractable landing gear. For me, quite a significant aeroplane for the sim because around about 15 years ago now, almost, I used to fly Piper PA28 Cherokee, so really was keen to get my hands on this with some experience of the similar aeroplane, which the Cherokee was replaced by the Arrow series, I believe. So really excited, and thanks as always to JustFlight for sending me a copy to have a look at. Really appreciate those guys recognising the channel. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and be sure to subscribe of course as well. And if you guys have got your hands on the PA28 Arrow III from JustFlight, let me know what you guys think as well. Of course, it's just recently had an update to version 0.2 with some significant tweaks and improvements as well. And I also hope you guys like my bespoke channel livery that I've managed to paint, albeit it took a little while, but I managed to paint it onto the airframe itself, so I think it looks fantastic. But let me know what you guys think. I've got the door open, and I'll be following the JustFlight manual checklists. So let's jump in. So in case you guys are wondering where we are today, we're at Denham Aerodrome, and it's a scenery that I actually created using the SDK, and it's on flightsim.to if you guys want to get your hands on it. I've tried to make it as realistic as possible, but I think it's fantastic. Made it actually for a mate who flies out of Denham in light aircraft, and he really likes it. So download it, make the most of it, it's there to be enjoyed. First impressions then of the interior. I think it looks incredible. I love the wear and tear. I love the interior design. Of course, I've managed to, with using the textures, I managed to put the registration on the outside onto the inside too. And I quite like the fact it comes with an EFB as well. So I've selected left yoke. I've removed the chocks and tie downs. You can tick them on and off, and the tow bar as well. And there's quite a few little options there for us to use. There's a little flight informations tab here for us as well, which is quite cool. Effectively today what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it on a little VFR trip. Let's close the door. Make sure that's all locked. Effectively today I'm going to take it on a little VFR trip from Denham up to Silverstone and back again, using the VRPs, St. Peter's Church, I think it is, just slightly northwest of Denham, and then heading up to Amersham, Princess Risborough, up the M40 to Silverstone, and back again. So a route that Simon, my mate, who actually flies out of Denham, advised me is one that he's flown regularly, so I'm going to give that a go. So to hide the yoke, we can just click there, and let's have a little look at the checklists. So pre-flight. We'll have done all of those, of course. Before starting engine then, brakes need to be set. There's the park brake there. Up is set, down is off. Circuit breakers, we need to make sure they're all in, and you can see they are all in. You can pop them. This is what I really like about this actually. So you can pop a circuit breaker, so you need to make sure they're all in. Alternate air is off, and that's there. That's open, that's closed, so that's off. Propeller, full forward, fuel selector, desired tank. We've got the left tank selected. Of course we can turn it off, but we've got left or right as options. Avionics are off. Engine start for cold then, so throttle 1/2 inch open. About there. Alternator switches need to go on, that's there. Battery master switch, on. Fuel pump on. We've got lights on, of course, as you guys can see. Turn the lights down for you guys a little bit. So mixture's gone to rich. Then idle cut off. So you need to make sure, of course, we're going to start the engine. Rotating beacon, anti-collision lights are on. And finally, of course, clear prop. So ignition mode, start. You can see that's down there at the bottom key. And mixture to rich. And she started. Magneto selectors flick back to both. We can adjust the throttle. And we want to make sure the oil pressure is checked and the throttle is 1400 to 1500 RPM. Resetting the view, then we want to make sure the oil pressure is in the green. It is, and the oil temperature as the engine heats up, of course. Everything heats up. The oil temperature will rise as well, but as long as it's in the green band, it's good. We have started from cold, so we've got to give it a little while, and you can see the needle starting to rise. Throttle 1400 to 1500 RPM for a cold start. And we just let it stabilise and we monitor and let the engine warm up effectively. So very briefly, I've set up the VOR for Bovingdon, and I've actually set a course away from there of 187 degrees, 186 degrees, based upon the St Giles Church, not St Peter's as I said earlier, but the St Giles Church visual reference point departing runway 24 from Denham. And I've switched it on, and it's picked it up, which is quite cool. Obviously turn voice up as well, you want voice to be up. And I've also set the next waypoint, which is the ADF 335 at Westcott for Aylesbury, so we can track that too. I've turned this on, and this is basically a little bit of a tracking reference, so we can see we're 8.4 nautical miles currently from the Bovingdon VOR. Loads of data on here, which is quite cool. Current heading, wind currently as well. So yeah, very cool. A lot of detail in this, I've got to say. There is a lot of detail in this. But we're VFR, so we don't really need to rely on instruments too much today. As I said earlier, our routes, using things like Little Nav Map and Sky Vector, I've actually configured a bit of an idea for a route. QNH of 1020. We want to make sure that's set. There we go. What I really love, some of the little quality of life features, like opening the window there as well for a little bit of airflow. Okay, so of course you guys won't know it, but we're on VATSIM, and we'll do a little VFR. So Denham traffic, Golf Oscar Sierra Papa Romeo, taxiing to runway 24 Denham traffic. So taxi area is clear, park brake release. Brakes check, and steering check. We've got gyros, etc. all rotating as well. There's no reason for them to be broken though, of course. Let's stop here and do a quick parking ground check. Park brake set. Props full forwards. Throttle to 2000 RPM. There's the RPM down the bottom there. It's about there. Magnetos check. So we go. Okay, neither of those dropped, so that's really good. Vacuum. .8 to 4.1 in inches of mercury, it's within the limits. Oil temperature check. Oil pressure check. Ammeter check. Prop. Exercise at full forward, alternate air check. Oops. Watch the keybinds. Check. Fuel pumps off. Fuel pressure. Check. Throttle. Retard. So working through the before takeoff checklist, we want to make sure the fuel pump is on, landing lights are on, put the pitot heat on as well. We've done all the engine checks, alternate air needs to be closed, it is. Let's close and latch the window. We've got the flaps set as well and trim set. So we've done our control checks, they're full and free, and the door is locked and latched too. So line up on the runway. It's midday, but it's particularly dark in live weather today. Check compass. So back pressure to rotate smoothly, basically. Throttle. T's and P's in the green. Airspeed's alive. Bit of back pressure. And away. So turning right before we reach the A road down below. And then we're effectively flying north. There's the M25. There's the A road. And we can follow the A road all the way up to Chalfont St Peter. A little bit twitch on the ground, but that's more sort of my my own setup really causing an issue. It's a little bit more configured towards airliners. So the rudder sensitivities and things I need to tweak, of course, but really nice. Takeoff performance is great. It feels exactly as I remember it, weirdly enough, in the climb and things as well. We're up. So buzzing along at around about 3,000 feet then. I'm really impressed so far. I think it flies really nicely. It handles spectacularly, actually. It's almost as I remember in the real life aeroplane in the Cherokee from years ago. It's quite forgiving as well, which is really quite nice. And it's nice to do something different as well in the sim. It's nice to have a little bit of VFR. The textures I think are fantastic. The sounds, the little animations as well, like as you saw earlier where we opened the window, closed the window, latched the doors. All of that is very intentional, and it makes the aeroplane really feel like it's really good quality. And of course it allows you to appreciate the sim a little bit more as well, because visually it is utterly stunning. It's a great little aeroplane for VFR. There's actually multiple options here, so as we're flying we can change the GPS units. Let's click that on, we can turn that on, that looks quite cool. So we can put comms frequencies, and we've got a little bit of a digital display if you like for us to track different VORs. I quite like the old, I quite like this, I think this is quite special. Having a bit more of a look then at the rest of the aeroplane while we're in flight, and you can see the textures and things really are quite nice. There's a lot of little details like slight rust textures on the seat belts. We've got the dome light of course as well, which can go to max, and that gives us a bit of a red light on the cockpit. The textures themselves on the outside of the aeroplane are actually really nice as well. What I quite like about this as well is you get a paint kit included when you download it, so that's what I've used to create this channel livery of course onto the PA28, albeit it's not perfect of course. But there's options of adding dirt and all sorts of other things onto the aeroplane as well, which is a really nice added touch of course. They've gone to the effort as well of making sure that even the small textures like the wire that goes from the tail fin to the centre of the cabin on the top are all present, and the tie downs and chocks and things look really nicely detailed as well. Up close then, and you can see really nice levels of detail on the wing surface. No step markers and other decals as well on the aeroplane. along with rivets, bolts, everything included as well. The textures themselves are 4K too. At least yeah, if you retexture the aeroplane as well, you make sure you keep the scale and they stay 4K. But all in all, really nicely detailed on the outside as well as the inside. One really cool feature as well that I really do like is the fact that you can pull your visor down. You can click and drag and you can pull those sun visors down a little bit for those sunny days. And if we change the weather to a few clouds or clear skies, you can see the difference that that makes. So really nice added little quality of life addition for us there. And I might leave it on a few clouds instead of live weather because it looks stunning. I love the general wear and tear of the aeroplane as well. That's always quite nice to see. Everything looks quite pristine in the simulator usually, so it's nice that they've gone to the effort of adding in those sort of rough textures, the yoke and things like that too. I do really like it. This brings back some fantastic memories for me, I've got to say. One thing to bear in mind as well during your cruise is you want to make sure you're keeping the tanks balanced as well. You don't want to have too much of a imbalance of fuel. You can't just leave it on the right tank the whole time, so you'll empty that one and you'll have a whole tank full on the left. So little things like that to bear in mind as well. During descents, you want to make sure you've set the required power for the descent. If you're coming into icing, you need to make sure alternate air is switched on as well. And it also recommends to switch the tanks at 15-minute intervals, and we're kind of there now, so let's switch that to left tank. And that's going to help with just the general trim of the aeroplane, trim balance of the aeroplane. Really important when we're flying. Normal cruising power is about 75% of the rated horsepower for the engine, and we've kind of set that at the moment. And we're buzzing along quite happily about 100, 110 knots. We'll cut to Silverstone, sweep round, and then we'll head back to Denham Aerodrome for a landing. A little buzz over Silverstone racetrack, and we're heading south again now, so we're pretty much returning back to that Westcott NDB to return back to Denham. Still looks pretty good actually from above. About 2,000 feet we're passing this. Look at that, pretty cool. Shadow on the ground down below. So I've changed the weather now to a little bit more of a better time, and to get back to that Westcott VOR, the Westcott NDB, sorry, we've tuned the 335 into ADF. We've made sure we're on ADF. So we've turned it on, turned the volume up, and it gives us that needle there. So we want to make sure that we are basically chasing the white arrow. And that's pretty much what we need to be doing. And all the while making sure our headings sync up too. So quite a bit of work. That white line is going to take us straight back to the NDB. If we turn it off, you can see there it snaps back to a 90-degree angle compared to our heading. So we need to make sure it's on, and we're tracking the NDB at all times. I think this is such a fantastic little aeroplane for the sim. Listen to the little details like the wind when we open the window in the flight. How good is that? All the little details really do make a difference. What we've done as well is we've tuned the Bovingdon VOR 11375, and we've got it set up here on this DME box, so you can see we're 10 minutes away from Bovingdon, 21.9 nautical miles. So a few things to bear in mind when we get towards Denham Aerodrome. We're going to be tracking the Chiltern NDB, We need to come in from the north of that, and we're pretty much going to enter, for 2-4 at least, we're going to be flying in via the Maple Cross VRP, which is just south of Rickmansworth. There's a junction with the M25, pretty much just south of that there's Maple Cross. We're going to fly south, aiming for the Grand Union Canal and the lakes near Uxbridge, before turning right, max altitude of 1,000 feet, before turning right to line up on base and finals for runway 24. So the Chiltern NDB of 277.0 is going to be really helpful for us. 277. And if we flick that and switch that on, because we're just passing that Westcott NDB, because you can see the needles switching around, and you can see now we're tracking Chiltern, which is straight ahead now. This is if we're flying direct NDB to NDB. Naturally we'd have a route planned for the VFR, so we'd probably have from Westcott we would fly 120 degrees instead, and we're monitoring the needle for the NDB anyway. We actually want to come in ever so slightly to the left of the Chiltern NDB, because that's where the Maple Cross VRP is. And the London TM8 for Denham actually starts from 2,500 foot, so we have to be below that before we enter the London TMA. That's a must. So quite a few things for us to consider. There's Bovingdon. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below, and if you haven't already, do hit that subscribe button too. I'll just bring the throttle back ever so slightly. We can see Denham off in the distance there. That's going to help us descend. We're on about 180 now, 180, so we'll set that, and down we go. We should start to see the M25 coming down in front of us. We're pretty much aiming towards the lakes. That's a great little reference point for us. We've got Chorley Wood that we're just about to pass overhead, and then we've got Heronsgate, Maple Cross. So Chorley Wood here, Heronsgate, and then Maple Cross just a little further down. Here's the M25 down below. There's the motorway, it comes all the way down. And you can see Maple Cross directly ahead now. This is Maple Cross. And you can see Denham Aerodrome just there. We're almost down at 1,000 foot now, which is awesome. So we're going to think about our approach. This is Maple Cross that we're just passing overhead. There's the M25 that goes all the way down, and you can see Denham Aerodrome there with the little green flashing lights. So over the water, over Uxbridge, we can bring that throttle back slightly. We're at 1,000 foot now. We want to hold about 100 knots at 1,000 foot, so just trimming and getting everything ready for the next phase. We're aiming to come to the left. You can see the Grand Union Canal there, which is on the charts. We're kind of trying to line up with that almost, which will bring us in nicely for our approach onto runway 24. As you can see there, we're going to sweep in. Let's check our speed. We're in the white band for flap extension, so let's go to the first phase of flaps. And in this aircraft, we need the gear down. Denham traffic, Golf, Papa Romeo, right base, runway 24 to land. Another phase of flaps. And line up over the trees. There we go. And a little bit of brakes as required. And we'll vacate to the north today as well. We'll head on over there. You know what, I've got to say, it's really enjoyable flying this. The level of detail involved is really quite something, and I love all of the different features and functions in here. It's so nice having the ADF tracking facility that works well, and three different nav display options as well, which is exceptionally good. And I love the little extras there, like you can hear there with the windows opening and things. Really do make this a bit more special. It's around about £30 on the JustFlight website. Hope you guys have enjoyed the video today. I've certainly really enjoyed flying the Piper PA28 from JustFlight, and it's brought back some fantastic memories of when I used to fly the Cherokee variant years ago, so they've done an exceptionally good job. If you guys want to get your hands on the official British AvGeek PA28 livery and all our other official liveries as well, including the A320, Cessna Caravan and the Aerosoft CRJ, then all you've got to do is head to our Discord server, where there's going to be a link for you guys where you can download it all. So that's all from me, guys. Please do click subscribe down below and let me know what you think in the comments below. Thanks for watching.